Portland City Commissioner Rene Gonzalez was elected to Portland City Council in 2022, defeating Jo Ann Hardesty. Now he's one of 3 current city commissioners vying to be Portland's next mayor. A total of 19 candidates are vying for the mayor's job. The Willamette University Law School graduate and former corporate attorney is making his final push and pushing back against findings by the Portland City Auditor regarding his campaign. Rene Gonzalez, welcome back to Eye on Northwest Politics.
Thanks so much for having me, Ken.
Well, on Tuesday, the Portland City Auditor did fine you $2,400 for violating campaign finance laws, saying you used taxpayer resources and staff to update your Wikipedia page. Now, will you pay that fine?
So we've already reimbursed the city for $800. That's the value of what they deemed to have been non-city business. So to be crystal clear, they reviewed 8 edits. 7 of them they found were fine. 1 they think was political in supporting the campaign, and we've already reimbursed the city for that. At the same time, I'm appealing the decision. I think it was wrongly decided on the law, and there was a conflict involved in the deputy overseeing the investigation, deeply tied personally and financially to one of the leaders of the organization behind the campaign finance complaint. And that was never disclosed to us at the beginning of the investigation. So we've already reimbursed the city for the value they deemed to be for political purposes. We cut the check, but we will appeal because we think it's wrong on the law.
Why not use the campaign staff to update the wiki page instead of doing it through your office as city commissioner?
Well, the city has, well, take a step back. Over 1,000 congressional members have had instances of congressional members having staff edit their Wikipedia page was found in a recent study, including Joe Biden when he was a U.S. Senator. His office edited his Wikipedia page or was involved in requesting edits. It's because it's an important part of your digital communication platform. Wikipedia is sometimes a first page result when you do Google search, and it's important for electeds to be able to communicate accurately with their constituents and on policy or on background of an elected. So it is a broad behavior. It's often done as a part of a communication strategy for electeds because there is a lot of misinformation online. There are challenges sometimes in navigating Wikipedia's unique rules. You kind of need help on that, and we'll evaluate ongoing what parts the campaign would do and what part the city would do, but the city has to be involved in some of the communications about an elected.
However, you have had some issues before in terms of, the Jordan Schnitzer sweetheart deal for the campaign offices when you were running for commissioner. There is a couple of other investigations where people think maybe you kind of went up to the line. How do you address the overall perception that you're kind of pushing the envelope here when it comes to your campaign?
I've been a change agent from the day I walked in, and I've taken on the most entrenched forces in the city that want to protect the status quo. And you're seeing that with the large independent expenditures coming against me. These are some of the biggest players in our state. They are part of the political establishment. They look at me as a change agent. I've taken them on every day in fighting for safety, livability, and core performance of city government. So that brings the heat. You know, I unseated what was then the face of the defund police movement in the city of Portland in 2022. There's a part of the city that will never forgive me for winning that race. And a reminder, in that race, I had to spend $20,000 defending that, and a judge ultimately concluded I complied with the law, and it wasn't a close case. And so when you're a change agent in this town, you're going to take on some of the tough forces. They abuse the complaint process. They do it to harass our campaign, to distract from getting our message out. They did it in 2022. They're certainly doing it again right now. And we're going to rigorously fight back and keep it focused on what Portlanders need, a safer, cleaner, healthier city.
Last week, you and Commissioner Mapps and Ryan directed the city attorney to draft an ordinance to remove the city from its contract with the Joint Office of Homeless Services. Why?
So this has been a long process, but at bottom line, we're not getting the outcome for the dollar spent that I think all Portlanders would hope for. And Further, I think going forward, the city is going to need to be on the forefront in taking on responsibility for emergency sheltering. We're responsible for law enforcement. We're responsible for enforcement and keeping the city clean. I don't know if there's any way we can really separate ourselves from the immediate sheltering needs. And so under the existing IGA, task sites and safe rest villages would have been transferred to the county July 1 of next year. I'm increasingly of the opinion that just doesn't make sense. But the last trigger for me was the county's inability to meet some milestones that were set forth when we approved the contract in July, specifically a shared approval of tent tarp distribution policy and harm reduction policies. Those were important requirements from my vantage point, agreeing to enter in the new IGA this summer. Those milestones were not met in the timeframe set forth. And that was kind of the final straw for me.
Commissioner Rubio, who is also running for mayor, says your position on this puts efforts to house the homeless at risk. How do you respond to that?
Completely false. There will be a 5-month wind down process. There will be a successor relationship between the city and county. No one here is saying the city and county shouldn't work together, or they're both required as a part of the solution. I just don't think this model is the right way to do this. And right now, task sites and safe rest villages are being run by the city and their contractors. This move just makes that clear going forward. Also, we are sending about $40 million, depending on the year, to the county, and a lot of that money just comes back to us for the safe rest villages and task sites. We don't need the county to be a middleman in that part of it. So I don't see any disruption of sheltering in the city of Portland. In a lot of ways, this assures continuity in our existing sheltering offers.
You've been consistent in saying that the city and the county should not be handing out tents and tarps. You recently asked Multnomah County to stop buying them. In February of 2023, though, you even directed Portland Street Response to stop handing them out. And then we had a big snowstorm. Can you clarify your position on tents and tarps?
It should be handed out. They should be handed out very rarely. And so the problem we're facing in our city right now is a deeply entrenched, almost institutionalized enablement culture. We hand out tents and tarps. We have drug kits being distributed all over the city, whether by nonprofits or by government entities. It is making it incredibly difficult to encourage people to enroll in services offered, to enroll in treatment options when offered. Just to give you an example, the last time the city of Portland really assessed, they found that 70% of the time we offer services to someone on the street, they turn down shelter, 70%. So we have created an enablement environment that is very difficult to get people to make good choices and accept when we do offer better shelter options. So that's part of the tent tarp concern for me. Additionally, the city spends about $14 million a year cleaning up our sidewalks just from tents and tarps and what comes with it. We have an obligation to those suffering from disabilities under a settlement to keep those right-of-ways clean. We're spending another $20 million cleaning up the state highways just for encampments. So financially, it doesn't make any sense for us to be spending all this money on cleanup and simultaneously government entities handing out what's contributing to the problem.
A recent Oregonian poll shows you leading in the first round of our new system of ranked choice voting, but falling short of the 50% threshold. In this scenario, Keith Wilson ends up winning in the fourth round after all the second and third choice votes are counted. What did you think when you saw that poll in that scenario, and what does it further make you think about ranked choice voting?
So, one, we by far had the most first place votes. There's no mayoral candidate running right now that has stronger core support than I do. And versus our internal polling, that's actually growing for us. And so that's incredibly positive. How ranked choice voting is going to work is going to be an interesting experiment for all of us. So we're taking taking our voice to voters every single day right now, and I like what we see. As for ranked choice voting, honestly, I'm going to wait and see kind of attitude on it. We're going to make our case to voters like we would any other time. And we know people are trying to game the system. There's, these IEs that are trying to convince people not to rank me second or third. But we're going to take our message to the voters and see how it plays out.
There's a Don't Rank Rene PAC making headlines. They're saying that they want to inform voters about ranked choice voting, and they're targeting your campaign. How do you react to that?
Once again, these are the entrenched forces that resent that I took down Jo Ann Hardesty in 2022. They resent that I center things so clearly on core citizens, on families, on elders, instead of their ideological agendas. It has been part of my experience in public life that they've come after me. But I've been unbending. And I will continue to fight for those components of our city that have really been neglected by the political process recently. So I'm not surprised by it at all. Disappointed that some large, organizations get involved in that. But I like where I sit with voters.
Rene Gonzalez, thank you very much for being here on Eye on Northwest Politics.
Thank you, Ken.
Next, she's got an uphill